Hello and welcome to Hazmat, the only show that is swinging through the multiverse in search of a little pig.
What? We never did that.
I want to find
We've never done that.
I want to find him.
Why? You can't open up with a lie.
I want to find him. Where is he?
Don't know who it is.
Where's Spider Pig? We're here today to talk about Across the Spider-Verse. We watched Into the Spider-Verse the other day in preparation. We've been to see Across the Spider-Verse and god damn.
Yeah, let me tell you, this is the movie that I was most excited for this year. I don't think anything else is even coming out this year that I'm even going to be remotely anticipating as much as I was this one. And it delivered and then some. There's that meme where it's like when someone fucks up so hard and the movie's like, our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck.
Yeah.
This was the opposite. It was
the other way.
The expectations were high, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So story-wise, it's sort of a different vibe to the first one. It's more about exploring other universes rather than things coming into the one universe.
Yeah, I compared this one a little bit to Everything Everywhere All at Once in that, yes, it's a multiverse movie, but the multiverse isn't the primary focus. It's like a framing narrative, but there's something else. It's very much about the more human side of Spider-Man and trying to balance out the two, which is kind of been Spider-Man's whole gig.
Yeah, it's keeping that kind of grounded nature of Spider-Man. His secret identity is such a huge part, his double life.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same with a lot of other superheroes. But Spider-Man's always had that,
it's kind of like Spider-Man and Batman
life
are the
issues
two
thing.
big ones.
Yeah.
The way this movie opens and closes, it's more focused on the Gwen Stacy character. So it's almost framed as if this movie is a Gwen Stacy story rather than... Even though it's definitely still a Miles Morales story, but the way it's framed makes it appear like it's also a Gwen Stacy story. So they're kind of level in that we have joint protagonists for this one.
Yeah, we get a lot from her perspective as well.
Yeah, it is. There's a very cool kind of dual narrative going on in that you see that they're essentially both going through the same thing in this movie, but they both deal with it very differently. Again, sort of like the first one, completely just blown away by the way this movie is presented visually, even more so than the first one, because obviously they've kind of made that whole unique style of blending completely different animation techniques and styles in this one, and we get even more this time around.
Yeah, they really mix and match things here. To a crazy extent.
I mean, we get one character whose whole deal is kind of being very anarchic and chaotic, and their animation style is just changing constantly. They look very different in each scene. There's some blends of live action in here as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a bit of live action in here. It's a real blending of mediums as well as animation styles as well.
The animation as well. I think Sony has really kind of cornered their niche of everything is constantly in motion all the time. There's one kind of shot in this movie where Miles is just walking through a party full of people and everyone's kind of approaching him oh, hey Miles, I haven't seen you in a while. But the constant movement and motion in that is really impressive, and I think it balances out well because it puts much more emphasis on the emotional beats of the story when we kind of get to an important talk between two characters, and then things slow down and there isn't as much motion. It kind of just highlights that a lot more.
Going back to the everything everywhere thing as well, is there's sometimes so much going on the screen, especially in some certain group fight scenes, things like that, and with all the animation styles coming together, it's you don't even know where to look.
There's so many different blends of styles and color palettes that it should be by all rights, it should be way more disjointed and hard to follow than it is. But it's not. I don't know how they managed to they've essentially created a Frankenstein's monster movie.
Yeah.
But all of the parts of it make sense.
It all comes together for a perfect whole.
Yeah, it's kind of rather than wanting to burn the monster to death, we want to uplift it and celebrate it because wow, you did something super cool. Which, I mean, making Frankenstein's monster was pretty cool in the first
pretty
place.
cool.
He reanimated a corpse.
Yeah.
Not even like one corpse, it was like multiple
It was a
corpses
few.
stitched together.
Yeah. He found all those pieces separately and he put them together. And he rose it from the dead, quite like what Lord and Miller have done with this film.
We'll put a little warning here, because we're going to discuss some things a bit more in depth.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers ahead from this point. So if you don't want any spoilers for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, if you haven't seen it yet, which, what are you doing? What are you doing watching us? Go and watch it now and then come back.
Just go and then come back.
Wasn't
that good?
So we can just jump into like any characters we want now.
Spider-Punk.
Oh, Spider-Punk was absolutely the... I think the standout.
Yeah, I love Spider-Punk.
Spider-Punk was so cool.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Hobie.
Hobie Brown.
Because I like how they kind of sort of introduce him as a possible other love interest for Gwen. And so you think there's going to be a kind of love triangle thing going on. But then they just immediately kind of knock that back and make him like...
He does not care.
Just a mate to Miles, like straight away.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Like he doesn't care, and he's like very much super into like the whole social justice, anti-government kind of.
He's a proper anarchist.
But not like done in like a pretentious way. It's that like you can tell he genuinely believes the stuff he's saying.
Yeah, he'd be one of those like that'd be fun to hang out with, but like he doesn't do that to an annoying extent. Some people that are like that, you hang out with them and that's all they're talking about.
Yes,
and you're like, shut up, man. Just
he's
just
like
the
he's
day.
a super cool
But he's
guy
like-
that
he'd-
would just be hanging out
he'd
with.
be, like, laid back, yeah.
Bits of a spot that are in the trailers are all the scene where he first appears, like robbing the convenience store.
Oh yeah.
And the trailers make it out like he's just going to be like a one-off like joke villain.
And they make that joke in the film, Villain of the Week.
Yeah.
And it keeps coming up and up again.
And then they completely do like a 180.
Yeah.
Because you kind of talked about, before we went to go see it, we kind of talked a bit about like how I'd watched some of the trailers. And I was like, they didn't really indicate that there was going to be like a solid villain
Yeah.
for the movies.
Because I sort of thought Spider-Man 2099 seemed like a bit of a sinister character, but obviously he turned out to be the ringleader of this like multiverse group instead. He seems a bit of an anti-hero. Like he's doing it sort of for right reasons.
He thinks this is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
But he doesn't particularly want to. But it's like, yeah, it has to be done. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, he was cool. He's got a sick design that's kind of not like any of the other ones. He's got these like claw things.
He's got the claws. He's got
the others don't seem to have.
The Batman kind of spiked wrist gauntlet kind of deal.
He's almost a Batman-esque Spider-Man version, isn't he? It's sort of a different vibe.
Yeah,
to a lot of the other ones.
It's so like techie because there's some really cool stuff about like all the different iterations of New York. They go to
Mumbattan,
which is like Indian like inspired, and we get the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Who's again like very funny and very charming.
Yes. I saw a tweet. Someone said he's the only Spider-Man without depression.
Yeah, he's so fun and like he has like the cockiness thing down, but even to like a comical extent, it's just like crazy how many Spider-Man we like get shout outs to like the PS4 game.
Yeah.
There's a little Donald Glover cameo in there.
God, I wanted to scream.
Was super cool.
I wanted to scream when he came up on the screen. Yeah, a real who's who of Spider-Man.
We should definitely talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
That ending, like that cliffhanger ending, is insane.
As soon as Uncle Aaron said, "Oh, I'm not the Prowler," he is. I was like, immediately, that's Miles.
We get
It's the only thing that makes sense.
That's a little like plot thread that's introduced earlier on. Is the idea that the spider that bites Miles into the Spider-Verse is from another universe. Universe it was never meant to bite Miles, and so Miles is the original anomaly, and he's the one that kind of caused this entire multiversal rip.
I wonder like how much of that they'd planned doing the first one. I wonder if
whether they planned it ahead or whether it was just clever writing to
it was interesting to have
develop on from it. Yeah,
the spider came through and he wasn't supposed to be bitten and things like that. I think that's really interesting. It feels like this is how superheroes should be adapted in this like exciting, colourful way. I feel like this reflects comic books so much more than like some of the MCU does, purely just because it's so like bright and energetic
well,
and engaging.
it's like it's designed to look the way that I'd say more sort of retro comics.
Yeah.
but
So what are we expecting for Beyond the Spider-Verse? What do you think is going to go down?
I'm kind of like half worried, not in like I think it's going to be bad, but like they've set the bar so high with this one that I don't know whether like a third part is going to live up to the expectations.
Yeah.
But I still think it's going to be like they've knocked it out of the park twice. It would take a serious stumble for them to fall at the last hurdle.
It really would, imagine.
I said when we were doing our commentary on Into Spider-Verse that's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Across the Spider-Verse is now my favorite
Is it really?
Spider-Man movie.
Nice.
It's been a long time since I came out of seeing a movie and haven't stopped thinking about it. Yeah, it's had an impact.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a new number one, everybody, for
Number
Harry
one Spider-Man.
Rogers. Yeah, there you
No
go.
cap.
No cap.
I don't like to give anything a 10 because I think
It feels weird to give
10
something a 10.
suggests that there's nothing they could have done better, and I'm sure like if you nitpick super hard, there's probably some small thing in there that could have been improved on. So I'm going to go with I don't know, a 9.9.
9.9, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the highest I'll ever
Spider-Man
go.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Unless I
Maybe
get
Beyond
into
the
a-
Spider-Verse will get a 10 out of you.
I'll just go into like
9.999.
double digit. Yeah,
It's like
double digit.
recurring decibels. Thanks for watching Hazmat reviewing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
If you enjoyed this review and you'd like to see us review more films in the future, then you can support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted whenever we upload videos. As always, all of our socials will be in the description.
And join us next time, where we just become a metaphor for capitalism.
And we get bit by an interdimensional gorilla?
See you then.
Bye!